could never be beat.
Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. We're back. Thank you so much for hanging in there with us. I'm catching all kinds of flack today. I got you, Desiree Monique. I saw your note on there. I didn't get a chance to get it on the air, but I'm getting it in now. Desiree says she likes The Last Dragon, but she ain't like that song I played.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, Desiree, what's up?
Yeah, she didn't like the song I played, and I'll be honest with you, Crush Groove is like part of my youth. I remember watching Crush Groove in the movies, and these people in this room with me, MixLR and Global Scale Radio, these people didn't know Shirley E was in Crush Groove. I don't know what's wrong with y'all.
I haven't seen Crush Groove since I was like 12.
Come on, man. What's wrong with y'all? Y'all are killing me.
It could have been Apollonia, for all we know.
Yeah, it definitely.
I mean, Prince had how many?
It definitely wasn't Apollonia. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. It's time for the Diva Diaries. Very excited. Got a little theme music going for the Diva Diaries now. Got a little Beyonce going there. You know, little diva.
Is that the lip syncing from the other night?
Yeah. See, there you go. There you go. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. Before we get into the diaries, I got a question. Last week. And it's somewhat political, but not really. It's about the ladies. Last week, Defense Secretary Leon Panetta says that it's okay for ladies to fight in war. I want to know how y'all feel about that. I want to go around the room and see how, and everybody is kind of recoiling like, you know, the alligator arms. Nobody wants to grab the mic.
I grab the mic.
I thought you were going around.
Okay, hold up.
You introduce the ladies, then you want to bring us in.
Hold up.
Wait a minute.
As I do this, I do want to go ahead and introduce the ladies so that everybody knows who we got. Of course, it's the Diva Diaries. So, of course, we got the dating pool diva, author Charisma, in the building with us. What's going on? What's going on, girl?
I'm good.
It's good.
Posted. I'm thinking like you do have some things you have to be concerned with when it comes to women fighting in combat. You know, some feminine issues. You know. Motherly, maternal issues. I mean, you just have women and men are just biologically different. So it is a different animal you're dealing with a female versus a male fighting in war. But at the same time, I feel like if they are putting their name on the dotted line to do that, they want to fight, let them fight.
Toyana?
You know?
Well, I've been listening to it on public radio, and what I'm hearing is that when it comes down to the female gender, that the reasons why a lot of men, and I'm going to say men because that's who's actually questioning this, believe that women may not be appropriate for combat is because of our physical restraints. You know, we may not be able to help with any type of combat assistance. That means moving a soldier who's wounded, or maybe really jump in the front lines, or whatever the case may be. But I want to take it a step back. We have female cops, and they have the same training that male cops do. We have female firemen who have the same training that firemen do. And I think that the government has probably well-trained these females to be just as well qualified, if not equal, when it has to do with the matter of combat. Now, I will say this. Would I push a woman in front of a man first if it is combat? Okay, see, shame on you. I would say no, but I wouldn't feel less safe if she was beside me combating. So I'm just speaking for the women. I want to go ahead and say thank you for all women of all colors, races, religious standards that are actually supporting us and protecting us in the U.S. Army and all the other branches that we have. So I thank you, because I myself could not be brave as they are to do what they do.
Colin Banks.
First of all, I just want to get a clear-cut answer from you two ladies. Yes or no? Can women go up on the front lines?
Yes.
Charisma?
I just said
no. You gave a twofold answer.
Okay,
yes or no?
But my bottom line was, if they want to fight, then let them fight.
No,
that was the last thing I said.
Your want is not answering yes or no. Can they fight? Not want. Yes or no? Yes. Okay. Because first of all, these women will come in here and get on both of y'all for even questioning whether or not they should be out there fighting. Okay? They've been wanting to fight all this time. I say go ahead and let them do it. I can't give my life to Uncle Sam.
Why do they question us when we're supporting that?
No, but you took to ever. the question was, should they be out there? Yes or no? Don't elaborate. Just get straight and quick to the point. You ain't got to beat around the bush. You go right to it.
Okay, we are elaborating because this is a radio
but
show where we're sharing
you gave a twofold
opinions.
answer. You gave this first maternal answer. They were not phically. They may not be able to carry the guy. You wouldn't feel comfortable with them jumping in front of you.
Carlton Banks. Everybody.
Yes or no?
And I agree, but everybody may
but
not
you just contradicted what you just said.
Everybody may
chill
not
out,
be
chill out.
fundamentally understanding of what's really going on when it comes down to this debate, because it is very serious. And obviously, I see you all swole up in the chest.
Yeah, because I'm going out there
about it.
Let me do this.
And
let me do this. I'm sorry, I don't cut you off, but let me do this. Let's get everybody's opinion. I don't want to take a lot of time on it. I didn't think that it would get that fired up, but like I said, we got a little extra time to work with tonight, so I want to make sure that we get everything in. So we're certainly going to have the Diva Diaries, but if we got some heatedness on this subject, I want to definitely ride that wave. Kenny, what's your opinion on the subject?
Well, I'm an equal opportunist, so I say, hey, look, if they want to do it, yes, they can do it, and they should be able to and be allowed to do it. However, I will say this, because of some of the physical limits, there are some women that are strong. They are trained, yes. However, if I'm a man and I'm in the front lines and my team is made up of women or a couple women, then I may feel like there's a better risk, a greater risk, if you will, on my life and some of the team's lives, because if something happens to her, then I feel like I have to put extra attention on taking care of the females.
So your chivalry will kick in.
Right.
Yeah.
Versus me not having to worry so much about the guys that I'm fighting next to. I might have to,
Big
be
Ro.
in that protective mode.
It's like this. My sister-in-law, four-year Marine. My oldest niece is in the Naval Academy. My youngest niece will be a Marine in April. They know what they signed up for when they got into it. They know what, if the job is called, they know what they have to do. It's just like if I went down and signed up to be a Marine or Army or whatever, when I think we're putting way too much focus on them being women instead of them being people. Nobody's forcing them to, hey, we'll make you go do this, yeah. No, it's not a force. That's something they want to do. They know the situations that they may be put in. They are trained. They fight alongside men. They are trained alongside men. It's one of those things where if a dude has an issue with being with a woman out there, then that's a him problem. Because she is either as trained or better trained than him. So to me, the issue about whether a woman should be out there is something that's unnecessary, because it's not like we were in the 30s and they drafting people.
Right. No, I understand.
You sign that line to go into it. You know what you get into, and you're trained to go out there and do that. And to have 3 members of my family, immediate family, and my dad was a retired Army as well. Have people in my family and 3 of them women who've been in the Corps or been in the Navy. I mean, to me, I read the question. I was just like,
it's a no-brainer to you.
Yeah.
Here's how I look at it. I mean, I guess I'm agreeing with the general consensus in the room. I see no reason that we shouldn't. I do agree with Kenny that for some of us men, our natural inclination towards chivalry might kick in, but that ain't our place as a soldier standing alongside her. It's not our place to make that decision. It's whoever the commander is, and it's whoever the female soldier is. And to me, once you sign up to join the Army, there is no gender. Just like once you sign up to become an officer, a police officer, there is no gender. We had 2 female police officers on this show in 2012. I know them both personally, and I would have no problem, having either of them address whatever situation that may arise. And real talk, and this is real talk. It's some women that's tougher than dudes.
Yep.
It's some women that's tougher than dudes. And one of my closest friends I grew up with in my old neighborhood back home, and I won't get into specifics because I don't want to embarrass her, but she is someone who fought in Iraq and Afghanistan, who did multiple tours there, and did her thing. got commendations in the whole 9 yards. And I bet you there was some punk dudes in her unit. So I'm not going to go ahead and get into the whole women can't fight thing, because to me that's whack. Especially when, we know some girls that could beat dudes up.
Yeah. and they will not put you out there if you are not capable. Right. Yeah. If you are not capable, you don't go out there. They're not going to put you out there for cannon fodder.
And here's the other thing. When's the last time you heard of a lady going AWOL?
Except for that one chick who...
Well, you might have had a couple. You might have had a couple. But in that same sentence, though, they had the same courses and training that all the men do. So there has to be a reason why they can go out there. They don't go out there and dumb down the test for women. I mean, the same test. They're under the same requirements. They got to meet the time limits. They got to hold their breath. They got to lift that weight. They carry the same pack I carry.
From what I understand, the standards that they need to meet are slightly lower because of the physical differences, which, I mean, we're not going to be, naive. Obviously, the physical differences between men and women. But, as far as whatever those standards are, if you a dude and you can't meet the dude standard, you can't do stuff. If you're a lady and you can't meet the lady standards, you can't do stuff. So again, I don't think that the fact that you're a woman, keeps you from being able to do it. Now, someone, I think it was Toyana, made the point, or it was one of the ladies made the point about, having feminine issues potentially come up while you're out there. I mean, I'm one of those guys where I'm like, if she's okay with going out there, then who am I to legislate whether she can or not?
All I would advise is just let me know if you're having them issues, so I know whether or not you've been shot. Get my point.
I got you.
Right. Kenny, this is your first night in here, right, Kenny? I just want to make sure this is your first night with us.
Toyana?
Well, I just find it interesting how government, and I mean, with this presidency, yes, he is, definitely a gentleman by all means. But I just find it really, really curious of how all of a sudden everybody wants to be a gentleman, where it wasn't but years ago that they were hazing women on all type of branches in the military, and how it was even at the point where it was even going through the military schools. But wait a minute, let me finish my point, because I see you swell up in the eyebrows as well.
I am.
But what I wanted to say is, and the reason why I brought this point up is because on my reading, it says Pastor John Piper, and I'm just going to read it really quickly. He says, if I were the last man on the planet to think so, I would want the honor of saying no woman should go before me into the combat to defend my country. A man who endorses women to combat is not pro-woman. He's a wimp. He should be ashamed. For most of history and in most cultures, he would have been utterly scorned as a coward to promote such an idea. Part of the meaning of manhood, as God created us, is the sense of responsibility for the safety and welfare of our women. Now, and I use that as my point to say that, again, it seems that all of a sudden, it's 2013, everybody is going for, pro women, pro this, pro great. But what I'm trying to say is that now, why is it all of a sudden that now everybody wants to be a gentleman, where women, we have been fighting for years on as far as equality? Why now the gentlemanship? No,
it's no gentlemanship in it. You've been fighting forever. You've been wanting this. So don't sit here and bring in somebody's quote from forget that.
It was just
1763 when don't bring in something from 1763 up into 2013. Women have been wanting the right to get in front line. They've been wanting to be firewomen. They want to be police officers. They want everything. They want the same thing that the white man has been getting. And yes, this is the first time Marcus has probably heard me even clarify that adjective in this room. Wow. Okay? They have been wanting the same thing that they've been fighting for, to get equal rights. So if you're going to sit here and say it's on the presidency, no, he ain't had nothing to do with it. It started back before him to get to this point. He just happened to be the one that's in the office now. So y'all going to sit here and blame that on him? And whoever that crackhead is that wrote that, pastor, he ain't my pastor. I ain't recognizing his title until he preaches to me, and he ain't preaching to me. He's pulling out some mess that is crazy.
Wow. I'm scared to follow that.
I mean, but I'm going to.
Marcus, give him 2 aspirins and tell him.
Don't give me 2 aspirins to cut him off.
Let me just say this. I do like the passion, and we can all agree to disagree without being disagreeable. Big Robe, I'm gonna let you go ahead and follow him, because I don't even know what to say to that. Go ahead, Big Robe.
Here's my thing, and this is me personally as a man. Women have been fighting so long for rights and stuff to do everything. Now, I understand. I'm a chivalrous man. I open doors for women, all that stuff. However, we can't sit here in any. I feel like she read it. I respect his ability. I respect his title as a pastor. However, I don't respect his manhood because once again, it's a situation where he is basically putting himself above a woman, and at that point in time, once you put yourself above somebody, then they are automatically negative to you. Right. And I don't think that's correct. Right. And I can understand the biblical terms and all that. I get it. But, in this room, there are 6 of us. And there is no one of us that's bigger. Is nobody in this room that's on a higher level than the other. Right. And if Marcus J says, well, I'm higher than all y'all, then we are subservient to him, and that is not fair, and that is not correct.
No, I agree with that.
And I want to get on that same pastor.
Well, hold up.
That was actually the last thing we need to go do.
Yeah. I mean, the whole thing about the whole pastor saying what he said, I mean, we can all have our own opinions, but I agree 100% with Big Rube. Anytime you make a statement that puts yourself on a higher level than someone else, that's where I have issues with you. And the fact that he's a pastor makes, him highly hypocritical, in my personal opinion. First of all, I disagree with his point. And then I disagree with him as a pastor using that as his platform to make that point. Dating Pool Diva?
From what I heard, from what she read, I didn't get he was, looking at women lower than him. I got more of we should protect our women. We should take care of them. We should not let them go out into combat and not, watch over them. Not to say I agree with that, but I'm just saying I didn't get that he thinks.
I guess I guess as men, where our antennas go up, and I guess I shouldn't speak for the fellas, I speak for me. He basically called the dude a punk for thinking that it's okay.
Yeah. And I think that's incorrect.
He said that, again, and this is exactly his words, a man who endorses women in combat is not pro-woman. He's a wimp. He should be ashamed. For most of history in most cultures, he would have been utterly scorned as a coward to promote such an idea. Part of the meaning of manhood, as God created us, is a sense of responsibility for the safety and welfare of our women. And I just brought the point that while the sudden now, government is being a gentleman.
Well,
that's my point.
I understand that point, but the only thing that I'll say to that is at some point you have to work towards change. You have to have change. I mean, the alternative would be to be wrong forever. So if your question is, is it something going on specific to now, that I understand. But if it's a question of why y'all doing it at all, that I would have to disagree with, because if you're making positive changes, it's better late than never making those changes at all. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree. I do agree.
I just feel like he's calling women weak.
That's
what I feel like what he's saying. I feel like he's calling women weak, especially with the passage. Excuse me. Which one is it? A man who endorses women in combat is not pro-woman. I just think that why would any man not be pro-woman?
Yeah, I agree with that.
I love women, period. Let me say this. How many women are pastors right now? If you look at that same number of women, they want their own church, right? They want to lead a flock just like he does, right? Why can't that be the same thing looked at in the military? They want to lead. They want to go into the front lines, but somebody's holding them back. That same pastor, I bet, held some woman back from getting that same area, get to that same status that he's holding now.
Okay, so why is it that, Charisma and I, as the females in this circle today, we both are agreeing that his words seem more about protection and welfare. I didn't feel belittled. I didn't feel like I was underneath him.
Because he didn't call you a punk.
He didn't call you a punk, right? He didn't call you a punk. Am I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Do you do yard work?
I do.
When was the last time you cut grass?
Last summer.
Last summer?
Yes.
How often do you do it?
enough that where I want to start paying somebody to do my grass.
Paying somebody to do it. Some guy, right? Charisma,
no, some kid, 13.
Some guy kid, right?
Yes, because little girls don't do them, so yes.
Okay. Charisma, what about you?
Do you have a point?
I understand. I see where he's going.
I'm not really getting it.
I see where he's going.
Do you do yard work?
Where I live, there's an association that take care of that.
So you don't have to worry about it.
No,
then let me ask you this question: have you done yard work? Have you done any yard work? Have you got outside and cut the grass?
Now, ain't that kind of chauvinistic?
When I was younger, yeah.
You cut grass when you're younger, so you're able to do it right now, right?
I don't know. I haven't pushed a lawnmower in years.
But okay. Well, my point is this: for how many years have men been cutting grass when women have saying, "I don't cut the grass" or "I don't do that"? I mean, that's something simple. That's not going to get you killed cutting grass, right? But yet women say they can't do that. Can you do that? Yes or no?
I understand what he's saying. I mean, basically what he's saying is that there's certain roles that have been gender defined in our culture. The woman cooks and cleans, the man goes out to work. We get all of that. I get all of that. But my personal opinion is this 2013, man, roles is different. Now, at my house, I cut the grass. At my house, she cooks. You know what I'm saying? But at Kenny's house, maybe his wife cuts the grass and he cooks. It's about what works for you in your unit, in your situation. Now, if you're one of those guys that you're an old-fashioned chauvinistic type of dude and you don't want her to do any of the old school male, defined roles, then that's your opinion.
Yeah,
that's you. That's you. You know, because I'll be honest with you, I absolutely despise cutting grass. When I was a kid, the yard I had to cut was the size of this room. Okay, and now as a grown man, I got a half an acre I got to cut, and I'm not happy about it. I would very much like that she split the duties with cutting grass with me, but it don't go down like that at the J crib. It just kind of is what it is. You know,
I guess I'm sorry.
I mean, I don't necessarily want to send Mama J out on the front lines. I won't put a bow in this segment and kind of move on, Big Rube. You'll get the last word. I don't necessarily want to send Mama J out to the front lines, but I wouldn't want to send my son out there either. You know what I mean? Like, I'm that dude that's not really into sending my kids to war.
Yeah.
So my male child or my female child, I don't know that there would really be a difference for me if I'm looking at it as a parent. Mm-hmm. If I'm looking at it just as a guy, I mean, you know, I can only speak as a guy. I can't speak from a woman's perspective. And I do think that it's very interesting, even though we're not doing a Dating Pool Diva Diary segment right now. I brought this up because I kind of anticipated the kind of interaction that we're getting, especially when Toyana read that quote from the pastor. The men had a very similar reaction, and the ladies had a very similar reaction, which I think is very interesting. But we're going to leave it there. Ain't no how Steppin Marcus J. We're going to take a break, and then we're going to get into the real Diva Diary type of segment. Marcus J. Ain't no how Steppin. Be back in a minute.